All right, shalom, shalom, first and foremost. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rekakwadash, giving double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone. Shalom to the hopeful elect. Shalom to all the brothers out here laboring in this truth with sincerity. Shalom to the few sisters that watch. Just coming back with another lesson. Really just going into the unbelief, not just the unbelief of Israelites, but the unbelief, period, of these Christians, man. Israelite Christians as well as Christians of the other nations, coming up against the truth, coming up against the doctrine, coming up against the Hebrew Israelites, calling us black Hebrew Israelites and this and that, just trying to debunk, what we're saying. But the thing about it, you can't do nothing against the truth, man. You can only do things for the truth, and that's what's happening. Edification is being brought out by your unbelief, through your unbelief, Salakia. So, whether you believe it or not, it's not going to stop the will of the Lord, man. So let's go to the book of Jeremiah chapter 28, and we always bring this out because the same thing the prophets of old went through, the same thing the prophets of old spoke about, we're speaking about today. So this is the book of Jeremiah chapter 28, verse 8. It says, the prophets that have been before me and before thee of old prophesy against many countries and against great kingdoms of war and of evil and of pestilence. So, this is what we're prophesying about. Your unbelief really won't have an effect on what we're doing. It'll only magnify what we're doing. So you keep it up, man. Keep it up. The Edelmanach, the Zakba, South Carolina '08, GMS South Carolina '08. He has numerous of videos that just came out of these unbelievers, man, coming up against what we believe, as well as the elder in Vegas, Karat the Zakba, if I'm not mistaken. I'm pretty sure that's his name, but, been a long day, Salakia. But, I think his page is GMS Vegas Reloaded, if I'm not mistaken. And Salakia if I'm getting that wrong. But, yeah, man, you unbelievers, man, are constantly being proven wrong. And your unbelief is not going to stop this truth, man, pretty much. So let's go right here, 2nd Esdras chapter 2, verse Salaki, 2nd Esdras chapter 15, and we'll start from the top. It says, behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy, which I will put in thy mouth, saith the Lord. So that's what we on, man, just like we read. The book of Jeremiah chapter 28, verse 8. We're speaking the words of prophecy. Your unbelief is just like a pebble in the road, man. You coming up against what we saying, it don't even have an effect, man. It's a waste of time, and your arguments have been debunked, by the elders, and various brothers over the years, man. So you come with the same arguments, it's like a waste of time. But with that being said, we're going to continue on. It says, and cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true. It says, fear not the imaginations against thee. Let not the incredulity of them trouble thee. The incredulity, the unbelief of you people. It don't trouble us. It kind of irritates us. But as far as troubling us to the point where, we don't know what to do or we worried, nah, It says, that speak against thee. For all the unfaithful shall die in their unfaithfulness. So this is your fate All you unbelievers, which unfaithfulness goes into, you're going to die. You other nations here in Babylon the Great, you're going to die anyway. But you Israelites, this is speaking mainly to you, first and foremost to you. All you Israelite Christians that's coming up against this truth, man, your fate is death by way of nuclear destruction, So it said, the Lord gonna bring this in verse 5. It says, behold, said the Lord, I will bring plagues. You're gonna die by the plague. It says, upon the world, the sword. So, you're gonna die violent death by way of somebody's weapon. Whatever kind of weapon it is, that's what it is. Famine, you're not gonna be able to eat. So death and destruction. So all manner of death and destruction is coming to you unbelievers, man. The Lord is bringing this to the world. So your unbelief don't bother us, man. We got bigger fish to fry, so to speak. And our main goal, our main objective is prophesying to reach the elect, to warn them of what's to come and, what to do in those days. That's our main objective, man, and to worship Yahweh Shem Yahushua. That's our main objective. And like I say, through your unbelief, many more are going to come in. You're only bringing the attention to this truth. And edification is being brought out. So let's go to the book of Wisdom of Solomon. Go to chapter 5. It says, then shall the righteous man stand in great boldness before the face of such as have afflicted him and made no account of his labors. That's what we're doing, man. We're standing in great boldness in the faces of our enemies. We're behind enemy lines, man. This is Esau Edom's kingdom, And you unbelievers, you can be put in that category too, man. But this is speaking of our enemies first and foremost, man. But we know some of you unbelievers are going to give us up. You're going to give us up. You're going to turn us in on false accusations and all kind of stuff like that, man. So that affliction is going to come from you too. But this is mainly speaking of Esau, Edom, and the rest of the heathen nations. It says, when they see it, and you Christians too, they shall be troubled with terrible fear and shall be amazed at the strangeness of his salvation, so far beyond all they look for. Because you don't believe that we are the people. You don't understand how salvation is going to come, by way of UFOs, UAPs, which we call the chariots of the Lord, man. This is how we're going to get out of here, while the destruction is about to take place. Destruction is about to take hold upon America, Babylon the Great. When all hell has broken loose and the world is about to end. Esau's world is about to end. The Lord is gonna come and beam up his elect, man. And you people are gonna be so terrified and so out of it, man. I can see you now, man, with your mouth wide open, like that is really them. What they said was true. This is what we're talking about, man. So let's see. Something else I wanted to get. Damn, it slipped my mind. What was it? Salakia. Man. Damn, it slipped my mind, man. But yeah, man, you unbelievers, man, it's over for you, man. It's definitely over for you. His word is going out. So, you've been debunked over and over and over again. And man, I had that scripture in my head. It came in and went out once I started talking. It's a Salakia. So yeah, man, You unbelievers, man. You better be on the right side, man. You better come back to your how about Shimmy Shai, you so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, man, because time is getting short. All kind of signs and things are taking place, man, throughout the earth. You got earthquakes, you got flooding, you got strawberry moons, you got red skies taking place, man. But yet and still, you people still want to come up against this truth. But your time is running out. And, this was just a quick lesson, quick message. Saw those videos and, decided to bring this out. But, Lord willing, it was edifying. We want to constantly give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Rakakwadash. Shalom.